visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the D&B Podcast. I am your host, your champ, Camilio Salamander, and I'm here with my stupendous co-host, KB the Mark.
You know what? I'm not really feeling that today. See, why do you attack me? Why do you attack me?
You had it for over a year. I have to throw my shade. I have to stomp on you to let you know I'm the big dog. This is my yard. In the words of the tribal chief. You know, Roman, he had the champion so many times, or he was so close so many times, but when he got his moment, he shitted on everyone. I had so many opportunities to take this over. I failed. But when I finally met that accomplishment, I have to shit on you. It's out of respect, though. I love you.
I don't recognize you. I don't recognize this new arrogant you. This, I gotta make sure that I keep my foot on your throat type of personality that you're portraying to the viewers at this moment, the listeners at this moment. I just don't understand.
I have to let you know that the first reign you had, your next one would never be like that again. I just have to let you know that. You may take the title off of me soon because you may have it doing All Out, but I doubt it. But you're not gonna keep it that long. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take an extra step to being more arrogant. You're not gonna beat me. I'm gonna go on your reign. I'm gonna have this title for over a year. I'm gonna be on my Roman Reigns shit. I'm gonna have this shit for over 700 days. And that goes for you, and that goes for any listener out there who dare challenge the champ. You're not gonna win. I do this wrestling shit. I am a wrestling god.
And now you're turning on the fan base? How could you? How could you turn? You see, guys, this is exactly why we needed to get Camillo Salamander in tune with the family. He's turned his back on you. He's calling you out. He's saying that he'll never share the spotlight with you because you're not worthy enough to share the spotlight with him. He's changed you, guys. He's no longer the fun-loving salamander that we all fell in love with. He's an evil salamander. He's changed. He's turned his back on us. And this is exactly why I wanted you to get in tune with the family, because I knew this was going to happen. You turned your back on us. How could you betray us?
I have to. You said it the whole time. I'm Cody Rhodes. I am the person that believes he is the face, but he's really the most hated. This whole time, I've been good. Everyone agrees with my opinions most of the time. But I just have to take it up a notch. I really do this wrestling shit, so I just have to prove it to each and everyone who doubted me over the last 6 months. Because 6 months ago, I had you by the T, and I lost by like 2 matches. And then everyone lost faith. So now that I'm champion, I don't want nobody who lost faith in me to come back around. You can't fit on this wheel. This train is full.
I'm going to paraphrase something from Uncle Shannon Sharp. And this is not verbatim, this is just paraphrase. A man can lose himself on the same road he took to gain his success. And along the way of trying to take this championship belt off of me, you lost yourself. And it's up to me. It is up to me to make sure that I put you back in your place, because you've changed, and you changed for the worst. We can't have that here at WBP TV. You turned your back on the family. We understand what needs to happen.
You want me to get in tune with the family? Well, I say the family need to get in tune with me. The family needs to get in tune with the salamander. They need to.
Well, let's see. At All Out,
Yes.
you will get in tune with the family. You will be welcomed back to the family. You will be humbled to join the family, and we will welcome you back with open arms and say, "Welcome home, son. Welcome home."
Well, guys, that was enough of our rambling for right now. Now we about to dig into why we want y'all guys' attention. See, we had this topic set for a while, but now is the perfect opportunity to talk about this. And everything is up for grabs. Nothing is off limits. But the topic for today is, can women wrestling become a draw? That simple. Can they bring in the viewership, money, head of merchandise, so forth and so forth? You know what? Before I even go on, I'm gonna let you take the floor, KB.
Thank you, sir. Can women's wrestling be a draw today? Absolutely. Mickie James proved that last year with the Empower pay-per-view. She proved that women, a pay-per-view of only women, could go out and put on a pay-per-view the quality of any male-based division. The question that we need to ask ourselves is, are we going to give women's wrestling a fair chance? Some of us will. Me and you, absolutely. We will absolutely give it a chance. There are other people who just want to see divas. And that's the demographic that I worry about. Women's wrestling has moments to where when you give it the proper storyline, when you give it its proper time, and you let everything go the way that it should, you get magic. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. Charlotte, Asuka. Charlotte, Becky. Becky, Sasha. Bianca, Sasha. Naomi and Sasha with the tag belts. You get very good to great to even all-time great when you give it a chance. But that demographic that I keep speaking about that doesn't want to give it a chance, that's the demographic you're going to need in order to get to where you can sit there and say, I absolutely would watch an all-women's pay-per-view. So how do you get them there? That's the question, Salamander. I don't know how you get them to convert over to wanting to see women actually go out here and perform and actually give it the attention and the respect that it deserves.
Well, step one, you start with the storylines. It all starts there, especially in wrestling. Everything's about the storyline.
Yeah, it's storylines. You also have to have great performers. And I think
like the major three promotions in the United States, they have great women performers who can actually go out there and leave it all in the ring, have us standing up, clapping, and all that shit. They have it. It just, I think it'll all start with the stories, because they have them. WWE, AEW, even Impact. They have those women who can actually go out there and basically have a better match than a fucking men's match that they can put on. Whatever. Let's say if it's on Raw or just a regular episode of Dynamite or a regular episode of Impact, right? Whatever match that they plan having that main event, if you put two of your best women's workers there in that time slot with a good storyline, fuck the storyline. If you put two of your best women workers there in that main event slot, I guarantee they can put on the same amount, if not better, match than whatever main event you're gonna have there. Now add a storyline on top of that shit, you tore the fucking roof down.
I mean, I can go back to Grand Slam just last year. The main event was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho. And mind you, the match that opened...
That shit was on fire. Everybody was lifting shit.
That's what I'm saying. And the opening match was Omega Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
You do need the storylines. You do need the right amount of hype around it. You also need the performers, but you also got to have a team that's going to believe in them, even if the story isn't taking off at this moment. I feel like a lot of projects are killed because you don't get the reaction right then and there. Give it a week or two. We're so quick to give other talent, men talent, a week or two. Just give it a week or two. If it's, I don't like that for the women's division. It's got to hit now. No. Just let it sit. Just don't focus on it next week. Come back to it. It's just something that just is learned. Just keep it in the back of our heads.
All right.
So then when you put it together, we've got all that makes sense. Now you're getting long-term booking out of it.
All right.
That's the thing. They just want to address it. Boom, like the whole Thunderstorm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. That had been teased for 2 weeks.
You mean Thunder Rosa?
No, Thunderstorm.
Oh, okay. I thought you made a blooper.
No. Thunderstorm versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter. It was teased for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, they went out there, and you got to give them the proper time. AEW often puts their women's match on at 9:20ish. That's the one thing I hate about AEW. You're putting it right before the main event. Me and you have sat here plenty of times, and you've heard me say that is a horrible spot for a women's match. All you're doing is just...
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, a women's match should never be before the main event, because it's like it's a letdown.
Yes.
That's not what I want.
A women match belongs in 1 or 2 spots. Open. I'm not saying like they belong, but like they should be. They should either open the show to get the crowd hype for what's to come. Put them in the middle of the show, or like depending on the storyline and shit like that, they main event. Like, it ain't even gotta be on the title line. It could just be like a motherfucking hot ass feud right now. Like during the time when Becky Lynch became the man. Like when Nia Jax broke her nose and shit, and she was gone for a while, when she came back as the man, how she was just on the tear. If they just did like they announced one day on Raw, it's gonna be Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch. Or they just said no, because at the time Becky Lynch was on SmackDown, Nia Jax was on Raw. So if they just announced one day like, all right, let's take Fastlane. No. This is Survivor Series. What pay-per-view typically after Survivor Series? Is it Elimination Chamber?
TLC.
Okay, so at TLC, them B-level pay-per-views, they typically don't have both champions on the show. Like they don't have the WWE and the Universal Champion on the show. It'd be one or the other for real. And the rest of them matches, it'd be like 1, 2, maybe 3 title matches and stuff. But you can throw that Becky versus Nia Jax on that card that might be the hypest match of that whole card. And you can have no main event. It's just something that simple. Like, we know the story there. Boom, she broke her nose. Boom, 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 boom. Now she might get her revenge. So something like that like we hype because we now, like, they ain't got no story to it for real. It got a story, but then it don't, because the real story was that we know this shit was real. That's the story. This ain't like no nothing that was written. This is actually the story. Like, we know Nia Jax's history in the ring and all that shit. How sometimes she be stiff, so forth and so forth. We seen the footage. We watched that shit live. We seen that she punched her shit. That's what happened. She punched her shit. So that's the story right there. Just like Brock and Braun Strowman. That one first time they faced off each other, we already thought, all right, because Braun Strowman so damn big. And then once him and Brock put together, that'd be a good ass match. But then you got two people like that. You got one person that's always gonna show, like, even though you gonna know, I'm gonna show you I ain't no bitch. So I might hit you. I might be stiff a couple times. He was stiff with Brock. Brock had to let him know, hit him with a 2-piece, like, chill the fuck out. Like, and then they ever had a one-on-one after that. Like, after that shit, the crowd is hype. They into that shit because we know there was some type of realism into this. We know these people might not get along. They may be cool. It may just be like a little thing. Like, he may have apologized afterwards. Like, I got too carried away, whatever. But to us fans, we don't see that shit. So to us, we think they got real heat with each other. So this gonna be Mac Marvelous. That's what we thinking. Same thing with the women shit. It just depends. I mean, they can be a fucking draw. They can draw in millions of dollars to any company that they have. WWE in general, I wouldn't mind, and they can actually do it. The next 6 pay-per-views could be main evented by a woman. Ain't nobody ready for that conversation though, or they actually can. Especially, I believe now, especially the good ass time to do that shit. Why? Is because Vince McMahon is not there anymore. Triple H is there. He's head of creative. We seen how awesome fucking Raw was. And I just imagine what he has planned for the women's tag titles. I think he's going to do some shit where we already know this shit is real. Certain storylines they can hide behind the scenes of what stuff that happened, get ahead of the shit before it hits the news and shit like that. But there's some things they can't. There's Sasha and Naomi shit they can't. So, what other ways to introduce the championship? You either gonna hold a thing like how Eric Bischoff did a promo, and then he gave the World Heavyweight Championship to Triple H. It was just like, here, you the first champion because you the most worthy person I have on this roster. You could do something like that and not really be like, oh, you the most worthy tag I have on this roster. No, you look. I know y'all know what's going on. You ain't even gotta address. You could just say, y'all know what happened. Like Roman said, your daddy ain't here anymore, so you do something subliminal like that. Like, y'all know what happened. Things has changed. Leave it like that. I want you guys to pick up where y'all left off at. Here you go. Get them back the titles. Do something like that, or do what y'all was gonna do before and hold a tournament and just have them win it back. I wouldn't mind seeing a tag team gauntlet match. Not gauntlet, but what's that one shit? I think I'm right though. We're like, all right, let's say we 2 teams start up, but this be a tag team. So 2 teams, Naomi, Sasha start off in the ring with another tag, right? They win, the next team come out, and they just go through the line to the last team standing. Ain't that a gauntlet match?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I wouldn't mind seeing a tag team gauntlet match for the titles. Fuck a tournament. And that shit, we see them give us Raw for the first hour commercial free. Shit, I say do the same shit and have this shit go an hour and a half commercial. Like, you ain't gotta do commercial free, but at least the first hour again commercial free. Boom, some shit like that. Like, I mean, they proved it. Like, Triple H becoming head of creative was enough. I reported on it yesterday. Triple H becoming head of creative was enough pull for USA to be like, you know what? I agree on that hour commercial free shit. So there's change. Like there's changes that we seeing now happening in WWE now that, you know, the new CEOs is there. Triple H is the head of creative and shit now. So there are changes that we are taking upon, right? But I think for us to actually see some change, like that shit smacky. Like when you put this shit on, you tune in to WWE, and you may not have watched WWE since forever. You'll be like, damn, I thought a lot of shit changed. I guess I was wrong. I think we seen that type of shit is gonna. I think we won't see that change until the end of next year, beginning of 2024. Women wrestling just being a draw with Triple H ahead. We seen what the fuck he did in NXT with the women's division. Asuka went on to have an undefeated streak for over a year. Under Vince control on the main roster, that shit would never happen. Now just imagine if we had somebody like that on the main roster who hasn't been beaten in over a year. Plus, on top of that, they hold the women's tag, not the tag, but they hold one of either the Raw or SmackDown women's titles for at least 6 months at that point. Unbeaten for a year, plus you're the champion for the last 6 months. That's over 120 days. So, that shows dominance there. Especially on top of that, don't let them actually wrestle like Asuka and shit. Then, like, god damn, like, that's everything I need.
All of this really, man, for the women's division, Salamander, really comes down to the booking. I'm just sitting here thinking, and I'm listening to you, and you're just making so much fucking sense. And I'm thinking, like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, Nikki Ash, how did Vince get that wrong? That's $1 million gimmick. That's $1 million gimmick for the kids. She was supposed to be the female John Cena.
I looked at her as the female Hurricane.
That too.
He did the job. He went out there, he got the comedic relief. But when he took that shit off and became Gregory Helms, he wrestled. I would do some shit like that with her. You know, they already say history repeats itself. Even people in Hollywood, they do this shit, same shit. A movie came out in the fucking 70s. It was a big hit in the 70s and shit, and 80s and all that. And then, you know, 30 years later, they bring back a remake. And shit, and then to us, we thinking this shit new. We like, oh shit, this shit new. Then, you know, our parents are like, nah, we was watching that, even music. This ain't, we thinking the beats and shit is original, and then they hit you with the, nah, this was the Isley Brothers and shit. That beginning piece was the Isley Brothers, and like, just shit repeats itself. So, why not? I mean, they already proved they repeating gimmicks and shit like that. Why not repeat storylines? Just with an added twist to it. And all this, you could repeat the same storylines that you had that worked for you 10, 20 years ago and just make it modern and add a twist to it. That's all you gotta do. They could do that shit with Nikki Ash. Boom. She's Nikki Ash. So when she pop up, she's the comedic relief. And then you can even get her a small little push with that, but she's still a comedic relief. And once she take that damn mask off, she is Nikki Cross. And then, you know, she's a total different person, just how they did with Gregory Helms. She was a total different person without that shit. Like,
see, I'm just going back to, I'm like, okay, she won Money in the Bank. Bet. She cashed in. This is where she should have failed. It should have been a babyface cash in. She should have went to Charlotte after she had the match with Rhea and said, I'm cashing in Monday night. She cashes in Monday night. Main event, she loses. Boom. Royal Rumble is a little ways away. Let's book her semi-strong, but she still looks weak. So now, slowly over the course of the year, we're going to build her up. She's going to go and draw her number for the Royal Rumble, number 1. She's going to go through 29 other women, and she's going to win the Royal Rumble to go against Charlotte at WrestleMania, which she beats. It's the ultimate great story for this ultimate baby face. You had a chance to make Nikki ASH a star. Can you imagine Hurricane winning the world title?
No.
Exactly, but you got that in Nikki ASH, superhero with the world title. She comes out she comes out Friday night. No, she comes out on Monday night after winning it. Like, what's up?
See, that's kind of the difference of why I feel like the women's wrestling, it could be a draw. WWE, I believe the thing right now is too many titles. I think that's what hurts because, like you said, do I see Hurricane winning the main title? Back then when he wrestled, for a while it was one title, and then with Triple H, when Eric Bischoff bought over the World Heavyweight title, it became 2 titles, right?
Right.
But that title that he bought over, even though it was a different make, it resembled the original gold belt from WCW, so that already came over with prestige. So it was kind of different, right? So can I imagine Hurricane winning either the WWE title or the World Heavyweight title back then? Hell no. Can I see Nikki Ash winning the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title? Yes. Because one was established in 2014, one was 2016, or some shit like that. And, those titles really don't have prestige on it. Now, they combine the two together and make like a WWE Women's World title, some shit like that. Then it would get her competition would get more tougher, and I would say no at that point, because then not only do you have to go through the women that's on Raw, you have to go through the women that's on SmackDown as well. So then I feel like it would be more, and her odds won't be as even, basically. She has a better chance now because it's separated. But these titles, but the way Vince booked these titles, they don't have prestige. They only have prestige when they are held by Bayley, Sasha, or Charlotte. No, not Sasha. Bayley, Becky, or Charlotte. Sasha, I would say when she champion, I won't say I'd be tuned into TV, but I feel like any moment the title could be taken off her because they proved that shit. When Becky, Bayley, or Charlotte has the title, I feel like they gonna hold it for a while, Like, this at least like a minimum 6-month reign, minimum maybe 5. But I know they're gonna hold it for a while. Sasha, I feel like shit, she won it now. They can take it off her next week, for the way they do her. So it's like they care about prestige when it depends on who holding the title. And especially with a newly title like that, like this Raw and the SmackDown Women's title has not been around for over 10 years yet. So it's only had prestige when it's held by them 3 women that I named. Bianca, I would say it's getting there, but not yet. Because her first one was kind of ugly. But it just depends on who's holding that shit, for real, on the women's side. But they have to build that shit up. And I don't know if it'll start with storylines or just say, fuck the 2 titles shit, we going with 1 title and make it more interesting.
I'd say I agree with you, especially with the Bianca portion, because the 26-second loss to Becky Lynch really puts a nasty look on the legacy of her as a champion. Because nobody got over.
Right.
It just looks like Becky Lynch just had her number. But nobody got over because you buried a champion and turned somebody heel who the fan base didn't want to be heel.
Mm-hmm.
So you literally took 2 L's in 1 match.
Right.
So the 26 seconds.
Becky didn't get over at all. She was the only thing that they worked out that was perfect. That I say in that thing that went perfect was Becky turning heel, because for that moment, people didn't like her. She got booed because of that. But what they were trying to go for, I felt like was a fail, because I would love to point out what you pointed out. I forgot what episode it was, but it was early when we was doing this shit, when this shit happens, when that shit had happened. Now looking back on that shit, even what you tweeted out, like, it kind of made. See, I'm gonna say this, but it's not the way I want to put it. But them doing that, and you did say it before, but them doing that kind of made me lose hope for black wrestlers in WWE. Because I feel like we just transitional champions, like we don't get the respect that, the white wrestlers get. And not even respect as that, just respect as champion. Like, why the fuck would you do that shit? Would you do that shit to a Charlotte? Would you have a motherfucking somebody return from injury and beat Charlotte in 5 seconds after she just won and made, like, just did some shit like that? You wouldn't. You wouldn't put Triple H in that situation. You'll put Bobby in a situation where he's injured, so you're gonna have him, get kicked off TV in a way, and then do Brock and Roman, but won't insert Bobby into that shit because he technically never lost. He's technically never got pinned or nothing. He didn't even fucking compete in that match because of prior events and him basically having an injury. So there should still be some type of clause in that shit that he should have entered himself into that, made that the WrestleMania match between Brock and Roman a triple threat. You want to do that shit to a Triple H. You want to do that shit to a John Cena. You want to do that shit to an Edge. It just, representation in wrestling needs to get better for black people. Because as of right now, it's kind of like, I would say it's better than what it was in the early 2000s and the 90s. It is better, but it's 2022. I expect to see this shit that's happening now in 2000 and like the early 2000s and shit. Like, we shouldn't now start seeing changes. And it's fucking 2022. Like, we should already had a motherfucking champion who's been champion for like 260 days straight. Not no motherfucking 2 reigns straight. Should be no reason why we got a Titus O'Neil. Like, the black wrestlers, they always like Apollo Crews. They look good, but they ain't good like that. They have to work on that shit a little bit. Ezekiel Elliott, not Elliott, but Ezekiel, what's his name, Jackson. He look good, but he ain't good. The New Day, they look good and they is good, but why they gotta do this goofy shit just to be champions? Why they, like, I get the New Day shit was all their idea, but I mean, like I've been saying before, I'm not gonna take neither one of you, neither of you serious until y'all drop this fucking kitty gimmick. It's cool for the mid-card shit, but once you talk about capturing the title, and that's what it looks like it's gonna happen and shit like that, man, you gotta go with that shit, man. Fuck throwing the pancakes and shit. You got fucking pancakes tucked in between you and the belt. Like, I was cool, like when Kofi won it, I was happy. Boom. First time coming out, I was happy. Boom. Like the celebration that they did, I was cool. Then after that, I was like, alright, now I'm waiting, like something gotta change, cause now the shit getting old. Like, it's just something, like it just have to work. Like, I say the thing that will change for that situation that I was just talking about with, representation getting better in wrestling, it needs to be more black coaches, black people that's in them positions, like black bookers, black producers, shit like that in wrestling, to make shit, our programming better for our people, for our culture.
I agree. I think just in general, overall with the women's division, you gotta have a belief that it can and will take you to places unimaginable. But I also think that we need to start letting these women have a little bit more creative freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a team of men trying to write for the women's division. I want that group of men to have say. I want them to just throw ideas out there. I don't want them completely writing. Because I get tired of bitch in a promo. I don't like that. I know that women's wrestling today can have a complex storyline that does not revolve around the word bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I want good reasons as to why these two are going at it. That's what I feel like is mostly missing. We're just throwing women together and hoping it sticks, and that goes in both companies. The only problem is WWE is pulling it off better than AEW. I mean, they got Hayter and Britt, but they were throwing tag teams together at the wall to make something stick, and then they finally got Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing it now, just like we're seeing it now in WWE, like Asuka and Alexa Bliss. That's so fucking random.
It is, but I would like to add. You may disagree with me, but not booking wise, but just the way that the women perform in the ring, and kind of it seemed like they got more freedom. But I just feel like AEW has a better women roster.
I wouldn't necessarily agree, but here's what I'll say. I'll adjust the statement. WWE has like a great 7. And then the rest of that roster underneath that 7, they're suspects. AEW have like a top 4, but then everybody else under them you could see in the main event.
Let me tell you why AEW got the better women wrestling roster than WWE. It's simple. WWE on the out, like when I made that statement, I know a bunch of you was like, "What the fuck?" No, WWE got the better women roster because of their name, because it's WWE. It's like you in the NBA, bro. You in the NBA, you got to hoop. Like the last motherfucker on the bench, that never fucking play. Yeah, he's good enough to get into the NBA, but he's not good enough to play on the motherfucking court and get like 10 minutes and shit like that against these motherfuckers, right? But he can go to the Y and hoop everybody in that motherfucker. Can't nobody beat him. Nobody score no points on him. It's level to this shit. That diverse women on the roster in WWE, I'm pretty sure they can demolish anybody on the on AEW women roster. But like you just said, WWE they have a good 7, and that's because they have like fucking 35 women, but only choose to push 7. They only choose to have 7 on the motherfucking TV out of 35 and shit. AEW on the other hand, they like you said, they got a couple of them, but then everybody else you can see. Why? Because we see them motherfuckers wrestle. We see them get TV time. I don't know when the last time, like I know Dana Brooke be on there, but like come on, she ain't been no serious programming. If you count the 24/7 shit, oh, okay, but come on. The last serious programming she had was with Titus Worldwide, but she wasn't no wrestler. I don't know when the last time have I seen like it, just anybody, man.
I say the 24. Go ahead.
No.
My bad. I haven't cut you off. I was gonna say I say the 24/7 shit that she does is probably the best she's been since Charlotte was smacking her around.
Yeah, but they could have went a long way with that shit too, because she not really favors Charlotte, but I mean just like how they try to do with Lacey Evans, they kind of favor each other because they both tall, blonde hair. They could pass as I would have had them. It's the time of factions in WWE, and they're gonna start with the women's roster. So why not bring Charlotte Flair back? You see Lacey Evans, she ain't been working. She want people to cheer her and shit like that, right? Why not, keep her off TV for a little bit? Dana Brooke, she been MIA for a little minute. Keep them off TV and have them return with Charlotte. We can't just have fucking Bayley out here with just the only faction and they beating everybody ass and shit because it's 3-on-1. You gotta even that shit out. You gotta at least have 5 or 6 of them in there. So why not have them come back with Charlotte? Bring Sasha and Naomi, team them up with Bianca. You got 3 factions right there. Ronda, and Shayna. You could bring them with some. Because her and Sonya Deville got beef, but Sonya Deville has an MMA background. But you could bring somebody who has an MMA background. Maybe go back to Roger Strong's wife.
She's in AEW.
Jessamine Duke is too.
I don't think so.
If she's not, bring Jessamine Duke back and line them 3 up. You got 4 factions right there.
I think you're forgetting one in NXT.
Oh yeah, of course. Toxic Attraction. Bring them up. That's 5. And then you could do something with motherfucking. I'll do something with Alexa Bliss, Rachel Rodriguez, and something else. Or just say fuck it. You already got Carmella and Zelina. Fucking add somebody else who's arrogant. That's a woman on there, and then boom, 6 factions right there.
Triple H.
You know how many more women that's left that I didn't even name that's not in the faction? We still got Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley. That could still, well, she is part of a faction, but she's the only woman in it, so I don't count her for real. But you know, more people that you can still continue to push in the singles division. If you got these people in factions, because of course, one person out that faction you're gonna push in the singles division, but you mainly gonna focus on these feuds with the factions and shit like that. So you're not really worried about putting the title on either one of them. That's on either one of these 16s for unless it's the tag titles and shit. You feel me? But other than that, you know, many other people that we did not name that can still get that singles push. We still got Liv Morgan out there too. All that shit.
Triple H, if you're listening, Salamander just gave you $1 million idea. I'm gonna throw another one out there. Women's trios titles in WWE with all of these factions.
Yes.
It writes itself. Only problem is you have to have women coming up from NXT that are solely going to be in tag teams, and they gotta know it.
That, and then I would bring back some legends. Why not? I mean, you bring them back every fucking year for the Royal Rumble. Why not bring them back for a contract? Shit, you can motherfucking bring back the Bella Twins. I heard they want to come back anyway. You can bring them back.
Who you put them with?
Alexa Bliss.
That's actually a fire team.
Yes. Little Miss Bella. That's been the fact.
This is $1 million idea.
It's fine. All of this shit is simple, man. I put this shit on to the motherfucking game, and if I can entertain myself over shit I can rate and I got full control of, and it's your motherfucking game, I feel like y'all can do the shit and put it on fucking TV for everybody else to enjoy.
A trios women's division in WWE with Triple H right in it. They're main eventing pay-per-views.
Yes. Fuck Triple H. Wolf Triple H said, I don't want to write. Give it to Paul Heyman. Still the same. Either way it goes, if Vince is not on this shit, Vince, Bruce, Kevin, and them, I was about to say them niggas, if they not on this shit, it don't matter who writing it will go. Definitely can write this shit, it will still go.
Women's wrestling can absolutely be a draw. There are just so many different ways we could go with this. Imagine if Naomi won Money in the Bank, and we got the Sasha versus Bianca Belair with a Naomi cash-in Tampa. Destroying the dreams of Bianca Belair, setting up a SummerSlam main event.
I got something better, bro. What about this? Naomi, I'm just gonna use Naomi since you brought her out. Naomi wins the Money in the Bank, right?
Right.
Say fuck it. In a Raw, in a SmackDown, whoever the tag women's champions is, Naomi hit music hit. You like, what the fuck was she doing? She said she cashing in. You like, what? We ain't never had this before. Why not go? Boom, 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 boom. Whatever. Sasha comes from the back, boom, attack them, boom. They win. We got the first ever women's cash in for a women's tag title, plus a first ever cash in for the whole Money in the Bank for some fucking anything that's less than the world title. So you break history twice. And then why not? It gives people another idea. Like, man, instead of going for that title, because like an Austin Theory know damn well he do not have a good chance to go at Roman. Even if Roman just had a match afterwards, like once Roman pick up that steam and catch his breath again, even after the match, Austin Theory still don't deserve nothing. We seen how quick he tapped out to Bobby Lashley. So I'm not going to believe that he cashed in on Roman. Now, if it's a situation like he beat it and bloody, yes, but he would really have to catch Roman lacking for me to believe it. But it just give people another opportunity, like something like that, like somebody who's like Mustafa Ali. He wins the Money in the Bank, and let's say Brock Lesnar was champion at the time. You think he gonna cash in on Brock Lesnar? No. Ricochet, I'm coming for you. You the IC title. I'm coming for you, Ricochet. It gives people a different alternative. Even though they never specify, you get they just say you get to cash in whatever time you like, whenever you want. They never really specify that you have to cash in on either the WWE champion or the Universal champion. It's any fucking title. That's the way I take it. I just say just give people an alternative, like shit. Just be real, shit. I love the confidence, but you can be real. Yeah, I know I can't be him. That's it, like shit. I know I can't. Would you dare cash in on Undertaker in his prime at 07, 06?
I mean, Edge was crazy enough too.
That's because Mark Henry beat his ass before. That's why. If Mark, after that match that Undertaker had, he was still energized and shit. Edge would not come out and did that shit at all. John Cena, he cashed in on John Cena. John Cena was beaten and bloody and couldn't perform. We seen how the hell did he even get up? How the hell he even had the energy to kick out the first spear? Not alone, like Edge hit the second one and that was it. Like,
didn't he kick out at 2 on that first one?
Yeah.
See, Vince McMahon didn't even know how to book John Cena back then, bro. He's supposed to kick out at 1 to get the crowd hype. And then they think he get up, try to hype himself up, and boom.
Yeah.
Then you do the 3. Like, what's the point of John Cena kicking out at 2-9? Nah, I need him to no-sell the first one, get hyped, the crowd's gonna go nuts, and then boom, and that's it for John.
Yeah. But it just shows you, like the big people, when they get cashed in on, it's for some shit like they was beaten up. Now, Seth Rollins, what he did, that's why they did the shit that he did the way they did it, because it's believable. You believe, because Seth Rollins was on his way up. And shit like that. And I believe that Seth Rollins could beat a Brock or beat a Roman. I believe that shit. So that's why they just threw him in there and made it a triple threat. Otherwise, they would have did some bullshit like, you know what? That's why they had Dolph Ziggler cash in on Alberto Del Rio. You can believe that shit. Even if he was healthy, you believe Dolph Ziggler could beat Alberto.
When it's his night, yeah.
Yeah. But you're not about to believe that Austin Theory could cash in on Roman Reigns. But it's just a way to switch it up. Like, shit, I'll have Naomi cash in on the women's title. When she's sitting there talking to the ref and shit like that, and then he go ahead and like be like, you know, ring the bell. And then people, the commentator will go like, well, she out here by herself. She gonna single-handedly win the title for her and her partner. And then something happened, like, so that when this is done, when this is happening, whoever the women's title champions is, the women's tag team champions, they one is in the ring, the other one's out the ring because they still hurt and shit like that, right? So then when you got this, like they're like, well, once for such and such recover, it's gonna be a 2-on-1 and doing this situation and stuff like that. So you having them play that part, and then they already rang the bell and stuff like that, but something happened with the referee. Just he's trying to check on the second girl to make sure she all right, make sure she will get back in the ring or whatever like that. So he's just at the ropes, leaning over, calling her name, seeing she cool. Then we see Sasha Banks sneak up. She roll up the girl. Referee see it. 1, 2, 3, something like that. It could be you and you gotta do nothing like major. It's just the fact that them winning this shit is major enough because we ain't never seen them cash in on the tag titles. So you almost like you just something like that. But it's just the fact like we need a moment into this women's wrestling, especially in WWE case. We need it because like we see what Vince did with the women's division. So Triple H is all up to you now. AEW, I believe they're cool. They just need because AEW is a spot fest. Like, I believe they rely more on spots. They trying to get a wow moment out of every fucking show. I feel like last week we did this. All right, let's see if we can go better. The Sting U65, you went through 6 tables. Shit, we about to make you jump from the fucking stadium and shit next time. Like, they just trying to up themselves for what they did the last time, and that's the situations you get, motherfuckers landing on their necks and shit like that, or motherfuckers hurting themselves because you got these people going out here doing shit they has no business doing. But they can get better if they don't rely on the spots. If they rely on their storyline, their storytelling, and the wrestlers going out there performing professionally, making a good ass show, and rely less on the spots, they up there. But for their women's division, I believe they up there alone because like I believe their women's division is actually better than WWE's. Shit, we know how I feel about women. If it's a women's match and it's a fucking Hell in a Cell, one of y'all gotta fall off. If it's a table match, y'all gotta go through 2 of them bitches. So AEW, they give me what I asked for. They bleed. That's simple.
I mean, when it comes to AEW, you got to get it out of that time slot of 9:20. Horrible time slot. Needs to be
either 8 o'clock or 8:30.
Or that 9 o'clock hour. If you're giving me Britt Baker, I can take Britt Baker at the 9 o'clock hour. But you got to give the women's match time. But here's what I will say. Outside of Triple H taking this over, the good thing you can say about Tony Khan is, he might put them in a bad time spot, but they always got time. They always got at least 10 minutes.
That's why
they always
AEW women's. That's why AEW women's wrestling is better. I'm not saying like they wrestling in general is better than WWE's, but just the fact that we see multiple women, they're not afraid to air their women on TV, and like you said, they give them the time. They can go out there 15, 20 minutes and put on a show. Even 10, 15, 20, they can do that shit. WWE, they give them 5 minutes and be like, all right. And I'm talking about 5 minutes, and that whole 5 minutes got 2 women matches and like 3 segments.
The division.
That's the Vince era, though. We'll see with this Triple H era if he'll do the same shit, but I highly doubt it, though.
I mean, we're sitting here talking about women's division, and we keep leaving out the best women's division, Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
Who
That's
always
Impact because they cool. Like, they just, the thing they need helps in Impact, like, it's the total opposite, and it don't make no fucking sense. They cool. They just need to go back to TV 14 and be good with them. You feel me? Their storylines need to get better. That's it. AEW, they cool. They just need to stop doing the spots and shit right there, right? Impact, it's the total opposite. The women's division is cool. It's the male division that needs work. That's the crazy shit. It is not really needs work like that. It's just the storylines, the character development, the characters in general. It needs work.
Yeah, I can't sit here and just not mention the greatest women's division on the face of the planet, Impact. It is so much like you know you're gonna get great women's matches on Impact. I mean, Mia Yim's there, Jordan Grace, Mercedes Martinez still be floating. She be floating around there sometimes. Tasha Steelz is in that division. Like they just have Mickey James is there. They just have and
did she leave?
No, she's still there.
Oh yes.
There's just so much talent in this women's division, and they always get the time. They always have interesting storylines. And it's the tag division. The tag division is just as good as the main division.
Yeah.
And they're not scared to give you women's matches in weird time slots that's not before the main event.
We forgot to mention the inspirations. How could we? That's blasphemous. How could we, KB?
Jessica Bloody McKay, you know what I'm saying? But women's wrestling can draw. It absolutely can draw. With everything that you've said and everything that I've said, it's just the demographic that doesn't want to see women's wrestling grow. How do you get them over? It goes with the booking. It starts with the booking. You have to make these fans care.
Yes. So, I would just like to say to the audience, guys, thank you for giving us an hour of your time to hear our conversation. Because, you know, if you've been with us since the beginning, you know for a fact, we've been preaching, give women wrestling a chance. So we've been very, very, very high on women's wrestling. You gave us an hour of your time. We asked, can women wrestling be a draw? And to sum this whole hour conversation up, the answer is yes. But KB, I got a question for you before we head up out of here.
What is that?
It's a huge topic of, you know, the Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore. Who's your Mount Rushmore of, you know, music, athletes, basketball, football, so forth and so forth? But I'm gonna put a twist on this. Who's your Mount Rushmore of women's wrestling? No matter what promotion.
The Mount Rushmore of women's wrestling. That's a tough one. Trish Stratus. Definitely gotta throw Trish Stratus on there. I'm not really a fan of her, but it would be blasphemous for me to not have her on there. Lita, Trish Stratus and Lita. Charlotte Flair, just because of the sheer dominance. And number 4, that is a tough one. I would say Becky, but it hasn't been that long. So I'm gonna go with just someone who was a personal favorite. No, I'm not gonna do that. I need a 4th. That is tough. Who would be my 4th? Yeah, I'm stumped. I can only give you 3. I ain't really thought about my 4th.
So I'm gonna give you mine.
Okay.
Mine is Trish, Lita, of course, Lita. I will also match you and throw Charlotte on there, and really because of her accomplishments that she made. But for that last one, I have to give it to China.
China.
Yes. Thought about your last one?
I'm sitting here, still thinking.
Well, while you think, I'm gonna throw another one at you. The same question, but women from today.
Women from today.
Ooh.
Actually, Mickey James for my 4th on that last one. 4th from this age. Charlotte Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Gotta throw her on there. Jade Cargill. The growth lets you know how great she's gonna be.
All right, guys, y'all hear that now. So when I mentioned Jade Cargill being on like top 5 of a list in the future, he gonna be hating. Watch. He gonna be like, no, she's 9.
If she earns it, I have no problem giving it to her. And
on the Mount Rushmore of today's women's wrestling. You know how many women is wrestling right now? And you put her on your Mount Rushmore? You sound like me.
Hey, that potential is there. The potential is there. I see it. She's going to be great when it's her time. And fourth, I'm going to go with. I'm gonna go Bayley. Okay. Just the transformation from hugger to what she is now. That's a huge change. Never thought I could see Bayley as a heel, but when she did it, she knocked it out the park.
You know, you kind of nailed mine on the head, on like to the T, but I don't want to be like you, so I'm gonna switch mine up a little bit. So I'm gonna run with Charlotte, of course, Jade, of course. Britt Baker. So we got 3, but I'm gonna change that last one and I'm gonna put Mickie James on there. Because it don't matter what promotion she is, she's still relevant. She's still a hot name. We seen that, you know. She just think about the years that she's been. Like, it's been almost 20 years for her too. So just her whole career, it's always been so. Like, she always had any promotion she went through, she held that women's title and all that. But one thing I just hate, man, when she came back to WWE, when she was with Alexa Bliss and shit like that, like, we was alright, she got a little cheer. And then she wasn't getting the pops that she deserved, man. But it was nice to hear her get that pop during the Royal Rumble. But it was not like, it's always like, you love me when I'm gone type shit. And I hate that shit, because especially for our legends, man, like, even when Lita came back, like, I felt like she deserved more love when she came back. Because she paved the way for it. If she never wrestled, just think about how many people be missing. We wouldn't have a Becky Lynch. Just think about that. AJ Lee wouldn't be here. She wouldn't be wrestling. Think about how many people they aspired. So they deserve that love. Beth Phoenix, she don't even get the pop that she deserves, man. Like, I just feel like some legends, like, so I can understand some points, like, you know, a Goldberg or some shit. The legends that get pushed down the throat, we get tired of seeing it. But shit, y'all give him more love, and we be tired of seeing this motherfucker. Y'all still give him more love than the women's and shit like that who actually deserve it and shit. Because then we get to the point where Mickie James retired and she don't wrestle no more. We're gonna be going back to like 2006 and all this shit. But like, man, she was a beast. Michelle McCool, man, she deserved her flowers. All of them, Trish, Lita, Mickie James, Michelle McCool, man, all of them. Melina, they all deserve their flowers. Gail Kim, I forgot about her. Shit, I'm taking China off. I'm putting Gail Kim right there.
Awesome Kong, too, honorable mention.
Yes.
There's just a lot when you really sit down and actually get to talking, and everybody just starts to come back to your mind.
Alundra Blaze. She paved the way for real.
Hey.
Yeah.
This is the respect that the women's division deserves, but nobody outside, what they say is nobody outside of the hardcores likes women's wrestling.
Man, we the motherfucking #1 women wrestling supporters on YouTube right now, man. Ain't nobody representing women wrestling for this hard like we are. At least for what I seen. I ain't seen none yet. But I just know we the ones that ride heavy for them.
All women's wrestling deserves a chance. Everything deserves a chance just to see if it'll get over. You'd be surprised at what gets over.
Yes. See, I never thought playing literally two characters at the same time would get over. But Ezekiel, he showed us wrong.
Elias's younger brother. You got like 3 of them.
KB.
Yo.
Final thoughts going out.
Women's wrestling can absolutely be a draw when it's given its proper respect.
There you have it. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of the D&B podcast. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about today's topic. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, push that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. Once again, I'm Camilio Salamander. It's KB the Mark. Simply, we some fucking marks that love sports entertainment.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.